Racing at the Gentleman's Challenge. This is your boy Cupcake, commentating on this beautiful day over at Alsace. Now, this track's pretty fun, pretty technical too, so here shortly I'm going to take you on a lap around. I'm just going to make sure everybody's kind of out of the way there, and also I'm going to send my little blast to everybody, let them know, hey, I'm streaming. Come check me out. So let's see here. RWB Racing. This track, though, very wide yet very technical. There are different points of elevation in this track itself. It's also got this really cool carousel section of the track. So, let's see, we're going to share that to our homies over at RWB, Gran Turismo Sport. We're going to share it over to, there it is, SRT. You know what, let's share it to our homeboys over at MRC. Okay, so now that's out of the way. As soon as these people kind of move, I'll be more than happy to show you the layout of the track. So I'm in my wheel. Looks like I got some space here. This is not gonna work out. There we go. Before I get out of the way there for kids. All right, so first lap. As you can tell, the very first two corners are brutal. We're gonna go over this hill. I'm gonna take the inside, then I'm gonna kind of switch on over to the other side of the road. What precedes is a very fast downhill right-hand turn into this almost like a hairpin. So we'll take the inside here. And then this is one of the faster sections of the track, but it leads up to my favorite part of the course, which is the carousel. Now this will probably be the bane of everybody's existence because of how brutal it is. I mean, it all comes down to the way you come in and the way you shift. These vehicles are very funky for a Group 3 car. Let's see, we're going to go into a 90-degree left-hand turn. See, as you can tell there, I just kind of let go of the throttle there, and the rear end wanted to swing out on me. So this section here, got to be very careful, because like I said, that rear end will swing out on you. And then we're going to get into this little bit of a dip left turn, almost like a hairpin in a sense. And here's our fastest part of the track here. We'll reach speeds of anywhere from about 160 to, I could see maybe 180, depending on the tuning. Now, the last turn here is going to be very tricky, especially when you go to pit. Because pit lane, if you look, if you blink, you'll miss it. It's all the way to the left. So, how you go in and how you enter is going to be crucial. Here, we're going to go right by Apex there. So I'll just go around one more lap there. Looked like the first lap was kind of inappropriate. And yes, I'm going back to the wheel. Another left-hander. Now, if you notice, I mean, look how wide this track is. You can probably go 3 or 4 wide down this whole track itself. You don't really want to, especially around this curve, because see, like I said, you miss that turn or you miss a shift and you downshift, that rear end is gonna slide on your boy. And yep, it got me. Alright, so we'll go ahead and get out of there. That is the overview of the track. So let's see who we have here as far as competitors. Right now, we've got Turbo, looks like he's qualifying first with a 144. Jeez. Look at him. He is sliding that thing around. RWB GA GT driver, our fearless leader, Rusty, running second with a 146. Patriotic running third with a 148. J-Rod not too far behind. Mere hundredths of a second off for Patriotic running fifth. Joey Cannoli running sixth right now with a 151. Igor is going to sit at a 153. Apex, his best is a 218. I see that going down there. Turbo just being Turbo. And now Kitchuation with a 148.4. Boy, we got some beautiful liveries. I mean, this one, you know, if you don't have time to make a livery, it's cool. You know, I would rather have somebody run a livery like that one, where it's just plain and it's got color rims, rather than the stock livery. That one's just gorgeous. Good job there, Kitch. Patriotic, he's running a pretty funky looking livery there, but nonetheless, it's dope. J-Rod, looked like somebody took some black paint and just sprayed it all over his car like it's nobody's business. But honestly, look at it. It's beautiful. The different colors, different style of the paint, you know, it all just molds. Then we got Mr. Creative there in the original livery for the Alfa Romeo. Really nothing to look at there. Igorski, what is he got? Ooh, he's got a nice one. That is beautiful there, sir. Apex running this kind of a different funky design there versus Patriotic, but other than that, all good. So I think Turbo's pretty happy with his time, so he's just gonna chill there. So qualifying should be ending here in a couple minutes, so I will be back with you then. So while I'm away doing something, just listen to these engines. Alright, here we go, ladies and gents. 21 laps over Alsace, 8 competitors, only 1 winner. Who will it be? So we're going to take a look here at Turbo. Let's see how this start goes, especially with the first 2 turns in the circuit. Sure, that'll cause a lot of issues, and they're... Okay, what just happened? Huh. So that happened. Look at all the crew members. They're just ready. Alright, so a little bit of a technical difficulty there from the looks of it, so we'll go silent here for a sec and see what in the heck happened. It looks like J-Rod's going to go ahead and set the grid by host. So we'll do that, and then hopefully we can race it. Okay, let's try this again. And to everybody that's tuning in, welcome to Gentleman's Tuesday. We're running the Alfa Romeo Group 3 at over Alsace, 21 laps. No tire wear, there is some fuel wear, but you know, it's just going to make it a lot more fun. These cars have been opened up wide to allow tuning, to allow any kind of power, so they're off. Looks like Turbo's getting a very good start there. Gets passed by Rusty. Let's take a look here. Going through the first corner. Smooth sailing, smooth sailing. Love it. Love it, love it. Rusty right now holding just about a 0.3 of a second lead over Turbo. He's going to go into that very fast right-hander. Looks like Patriot is going to go on the inside past Joey Canoli. Good move there, sir. Igor running 7th, Apex 8th. Rusty, meanwhile, has got about an 0.8 of a second lead over Turbo, so using about the same fuel. Apex, meanwhile, holding up the rear there. Now let's see if we got some good battles going on. Ah, yes, we got a three-way battle here for 5th place. Patriotic holding up 5th. Joey Cannoli 6th. Igor 7th. And Patriotic's going to take that turn with ease. He's going to easily pull away. Oh, looky there. We got Kitchuation taking 3rd. Rusty goes into the wall, loses 1st place to Turbo. Meanwhile, Turbo's going to take full advantage of that. And he's going to run just about a 2-second lead over Rusty. It's a good job there, my man. Good job. Meanwhile, Kitch is out for blood. He is looking to overtake Rusty there. And, oh, J-Rod hits the wall. Is he going to get passed by Patriotic? Looks like it. But no, J-Rod is going to slam the door on Patriotic. Now Joey Cannoli is hunting down Igor. Now let's see if Joey here can get it done. See, Igor's going to go a little bit on the outside there. Going to lose just a hair bit of time. Missing a gear shift. But that's alright. He's still in 6th. He's still ahead of Joey Cannoli. Meanwhile, he's going to take about the middle section there. Oh, collision! Joey Cannoli gets into Igor, causing him to spin out. You'd hate to see it. You legit hate to see it. Now, meanwhile, looks like Turbo has dropped back to 2nd. Rusty now in 1st. With about a 1.5 second lead over Turbo. And just look at that. Kitch running 3rd right now. J-Rod 4th. Patriotic 5th. Igor's going to be running in 6th. Joey Cannoli 7th. Apex 8th. Look at that. Rusty there setting the fastest lap of the race at a 1:46.4. Turbo, though, he is not having it. Gets a little bit loose there. Loses just a little bit of time, but not much. It looks like he is starting to gain on Rusty, so this will be interesting to see. So while they're duking it out, we got Kitch running 3rd still. J-Rod gets into the grass, crashes. Patriotic's going to go in and just gank 4th from him. Igorski's still running pretty good there. Joey Cannoli 7th. It's got about a 13-second gap from Igorski, but you know, you've got about 19 laps to go in this race, so you've got time to catch up there, homie. Apex, meanwhile, he's about 7.5 seconds away from Joey Cannoli. And it looks like we really don't have any kind of battles heating up at the moment, but you do see a lot of sliding from these Alfa Romeos. Looks like Turbo's now cutting that lead down to less than a second. He is gaining some big time on Rusty. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays. Ugh, sorry. Turbo looks like he is on the hunt there. Ooh, gets a little bit squirrely. He's going to drop back to about a second behind Rusty now. Gotta have patience there, sir. Kitchuation's already going to go into pit. He's going to drop back to 5th. J-Rod's going to be running 4th. Patriotic's going to be running 3rd. Meanwhile, Turbo and Rusty are just having at it, but the interesting thing I want to note here is Rusty's got more fuel than Turbo. So this is definitely interesting. Meanwhile, everybody else here on fuel, Patriotic's doing good, J-Rod's doing good, Kid's just pitted, Igorski, he's got about a quarter tank, Joey Cannoli, he's about, I'd say between a quarter and a half. Apex, he's running about half a tank, so he's definitely fuel saving there, but right now we've got this beautiful battle for first place going on between Rusty and Turbo. Rusty gonna take this little bit of a curve there, sliding in style. In style. But looks like Turbo's gonna be easily catching up to him like it's nobody's business. But is Turbo gonna have to pit? Yes. Yep, he's going into pit. Rusty's probably got about a lap left to go. But while Turbo's getting fuel there, J-Rod is making a push. Is he going to go in and pit? No, he is not going to pit. Patriotic, meanwhile, will go in to make a pit stop there for fuel. Meanwhile, Rusty's in his own little world at the moment. J-Rod, he is kicking it in second place. He's got about a 4-second gap between himself and Turbo. Turbo just made a full stop, so he's fresh on fuel. Situation, meanwhile, running fourth in a pretty good spot. He's in a little bit of a world of his own. About 6 seconds behind Turbo, and he's about 8 seconds ahead of Patriotic. Looked like Patriotic had just pit, so that might change. Joey Cannoli, meanwhile, he is running 6 at the moment. He's got about a 5-second gap between himself and Patriotic. He's about 9 seconds ahead of Igorski. Igorski, meanwhile, is running yet again in a league of his own. 8.5 seconds behind Joey Cannoli. He's about 45 seconds ahead of Apex. Apex, he is just not having a good time. This is not his race. But I think it's been a while since he's been on GT, so he's got to knock that rust off. Which, do these Alfa Romeos rust? That's a subject we'll have to tackle. But, ooh, looks like Mr. Rusty's making a pit stop here. He's about 16 seconds ahead of J-Rod. J-Rod's getting ready to go around the curve there. He'll probably end up taking first spot. Well, no, he'll have to pit, so it'll be Turbo. That'll come out just maybe a hair behind Rusty. Yep, that's what it looks like. We got someone that looked like they might have slid. The Kitchuation's going to take third, so meanwhile, Rusty's got a full tank of gas. He's running about 4.5 seconds ahead of Turbo. Turbo, meanwhile, has got about a quarter tank of gas that he has used. Kitchuation, he's about half a tank, so he's not doing terribly bad. Meanwhile, we got a battle here between J-Rod. Well, I thought we had a battle. The map lied. So everybody's pretty much separating here. Igorski's going to take 6 because it looks like Joey had pitted. Apex running about 56 seconds behind at the moment. But J-Rod, or not J-Rod, Joey Cannoli's got a full tank of gas, so he is good to go. Let's take a look here, and let's see. So it looks like right now Turbo is holding his fastest, he is holding the fastest lap of the race at about a 145.2. RWB GAGT driver, fearless leader, Rusty, sliding around that turn in style. Apex is going to go ahead and make a full stop there for fuel. Let's go into the mind of Rusty. Let's see what his steering is like, his gas, his gas points, brake points. I mean, look how smooth that is. It's smooth as butter. Smooth as butter. Just gonna brake. He's gonna masterfully go through those turns there. Oh, we about lost it. Looks like he's coming up on lap traffic. Looks to be Apex. Yep. And then, oh, Rusty, oh, he about lost it all. Meanwhile, Turbo is making a furious push to catch up to Rusty. I mean, he has managed to cut every bit of 2 seconds off of the gap, I should say. But I tell you what, I think the man of the hour is going to be Kitchuation there, being one of our newest members of RWB, and he is running in a very cool 3rd place at the moment. Now he's got a pit a little bit earlier than J-Rod, but I think in the end this is going to benefit him, because he's going to have to pit within, I'd say, this lap or maybe next lap if he's able to squeeze it out of this car. But if you do the math, I mean, he'll pit on lap 8 or at the end of lap 7 and then at the end of lap 14. Those 2 stops will give him just enough to finish the rest of the race, in my opinion. Meanwhile, Turbo, he dropped back a little bit there. He's running about 3 seconds behind Rusty at the moment. Rusty, meanwhile, just kind of taking his time, doing a whole lot of nothing. Turbo, it's just... there's got to be some evil thoughts going through his head right now. Like, he is bound and determined to catch Rusty. J-Rod, meanwhile, is going to take 3rd place from Kitch. So he's going to come out with about a 7-second lead over Patriotic, who's just passed Kitch for 4th place. But, oh, Patriotic gets into the wall, loses 4th place to Kitchuation. Not good, not good. Let's take a look at our other guys here. Igorski running about 6th place. Oh, gets it to the grass. Manages to save it. Joey Cannoli, meanwhile, he's running 7th. He's about 21 seconds behind. Apex running 8th. About 2 minutes behind the lead. But, oh, speaking of lead, looked like Rusty must have had a pretty big screw up. He was about 4 seconds ahead of Turbo. Now he's 4 seconds back. But meanwhile, I mean, Turbo, he's got less fuel than Rusty, so it's going to turn into one of those situations. So, as long as Rusty can keep pace and manage to stay within about the 3 to 4 second range behind Turbo, he'll be able to pass him with ease when he goes to pit. So right now, let's go into the mind of Turbo. Let's see where what is he doing? What makes him run that 145 race pace? And right off the bat, you can tell, I mean, he's got this car tuned to a T, son. To a T. And that is hard to do on these Alfa Romeos. I mean, the biggest thing I've noticed from my personal experience racing these cars, the rear end, like I mentioned earlier, just wants to swing out on you. Guaranteed. Like, it's gonna happen, it's gonna be inevitable. The other thing is, well, which is weird, at least on my end, it doesn't want to turn sometimes. I mean, if you let off the gas and kind of let it do its thing going into a turn, it's alright, but you do that, you're gonna risk swinging the rear out. Taking a look here, we got J-Rod still running in a very nice 3rd position at the moment. Kitchuation, he's running 4th. He's doing pretty freaking good. Patriotic, meanwhile, not too far behind Kitch, running 5th. But the big thing is, Situation's got at least half a tank gas more than Patriotic. Igorski has made a full pit stop. He's got Joey Cannoli hot on his heels. I can see Joey Cannoli passing Igorski. He's the kind of guy that'll pressure somebody into making a mistake. You know, it's like eating a cannoli. You know, they're well known, they're nice, but, you know, they're just bad. You know, they pressure you into making mistakes. You know, they'll make you fat, give you diabetes if you eat too many of them. But damn, are they good. So, with that being said, Rusty is now past Turbo there, as I predicted. Got a very comfortable gap there at 19 seconds ahead of Turbski. J-Rod, meanwhile, spins out. Spins into the first corner there. That's going to put him in a pretty big predicament there with him at Kitchwation. Especially with having less fuel than Kitch. It's going to make for some sketchy situations. Patriotic's going to go in for another pit stop. Igorski's going to run 6th. Joey Cannoli right behind Igorski. Apex just kind of doing his own thing there at the moment. So Rusty there, he's running about a 21-second lead over Turbo, which is great. I mean, that's more than enough to pit, refuel, and still have a halfway decent lead. Or a gap, I should say. J-Rod, meanwhile, is just kind of doing his own thing. He's about got a 1.5 lead over Kitchwation. Not a lot going on there. Looks like we got some skirmishes there between Igorski and Cannoli. Cannoli, like I say, he's got to put that pressure on Igorski there, cause him to mess up. Igorski, meanwhile, did not take that carousel too well there. Took it a little bit too high, in my opinion, causing him to lose just a tad bit of time, but he quickly opens up that gap there between himself and Joey Cannoli. Meanwhile, Joey, he is pushing, but that car is just not handling too well at the moment. So it's like he can get there, but then the car wants to swing out, which I will show you what I mean. Yep, see, it just wants to give out on you. Let's see, Rusty just made a full stop, running 3 seconds ahead. See, Turbo, meanwhile, second. Kitch is now third. J-Rod not too far back, running about 16 seconds behind Kitchwation. Patriotic running in his own little world at the moment, about 9 seconds, or 9.5 seconds behind J-Rod. And he is about 13 seconds ahead of Igorski. Now, I will say these Alfa Romeos are gorgeous cars. I mean, they are beautiful, but just the way that they're tuned and the way that they're set up makes it very hard to tune, I should say. Rusty in his own little world at the moment, trying to hold that 3-second gap between himself and Turbo. Turbo, meanwhile, just kind of doing his own thing at the moment. He's going to go through these first set of turns here on Alsace. But, ooh, gets a little bit squirrely there. Loses just a little bit of time, but not much. Situation, meanwhile, has pitted for tires. What a fatal mistake. Oh, no. That's going to cost him at least 3 seconds or so in the pits. That's going to allow J-Rod to go past him for third. And he is now on mediums. Oh no! His race just crumbled. Meanwhile, Turbo, 30 seconds ahead of J-Rod, but yet about 4 seconds behind Rusty, the fearless leader. Then Apex still just kind of doing his own thing there at the moment, trying to get used to the car still. This thing just does not want to cooperate with him. Joey Cannoli, meanwhile, looked like he had made a full stop there about a couple laps ago. Igorski looks like he's due for a pit stop. Patriotic, yeah, he's doing pretty good on fuel. He's probably got at least 3 or 4 laps left. Situation running 4th in the medium tires. I hate to say that, really do. But oh, gets into the grass. Now will that allow Patriotic to go past Situation here? This battle's going to heat up. And that medium tires, or the medium tires, are just not working out for them. Everybody running super soft, which means more grip, more everything. So, you see, he's gonna allow he's gonna allow Patriotic to pass him there for 4th. Just does not want to get in his way. Knows he's at a disadvantage. Good sportsmanship. I mean, if you know you're gonna screw up somebody's race, or if you're ill-equipped, it's always best to play it safe. So let's hope and pray he's got or he's gonna put super softs on this time. Alright, yep, he's good to go, so he's back in the fight. Patriotic, meanwhile, is going to run in 4th there with about a 10-second gap between himself and Situation. About 11 seconds behind J-Rod. J-Rod, meanwhile, about 33 seconds behind. Turbo, meanwhile, has caught up to Rusty. Still running about 3 seconds behind, but they were every bit about 3.5, 4 seconds away from each other about a lap or 2 ago. But here's where fuel savings come in. Turbo running quarter tank of gas. Rusty just less than half. So while Turbo may be gaining on him, he's using a lot more fuel. So it's not really working out too well at the moment. But look at that. Just ran a 145.1. Nice lap. Apex, meanwhile, just gonna get out of Rusty's way there. Turbo's just gonna kind of sneak past him. Is he gonna do it? Yeah. Yep, he is gonna do it. Rusty is on his purple lap, which is pretty good. Pretty good. J-Rod, meanwhile, is gonna pit, allowing Patriotic to pass him for 3rd. Situation right now is making a heroic push here. Oh, wait, I was wrong. J-Rod just got out of the pits just in time to keep 3rd place. And he's got a lot more gas than Patriotic. So that is good stuff right there. Meanwhile, Joey Cannoli is now taking 6th place from Igorski. Igorski there looked like he had just made a full stop about a couple laps ago, so probably allowing Joey Cannoli there to get the opportunity to pass him. So right now it looks like Turbo's now cut that lead down to about 2 seconds between Rusty and Turbo. Turbo, meanwhile, is going to make a full stop. This might hurt him more than anything, because Rusty's got it there in terms of fuel saving. J-Rod, meanwhile, he's doing his thing. He's about 50 seconds behind the top 2, but you know what? He's doing a heck of a job there holding up 3rd spot. Patriotic, meanwhile, he is out for blood. He is out for that black paint covered Alfa Romeo. Situation, meanwhile, he is holding strong. He's about 9.5 seconds back from Patriotic. Patriotic looks like he's gonna have to pit within the next lap, if not this lap, so might help out Situation there immensely. And it looks like Patriotic's gonna pit. Good deal. Meanwhile, Situation's gonna get around the last curve there. Ooh, takes it quite nicely. Takes fourth from Patriotic. He is now 11 seconds behind J-Rod, which J-Rod's got more fuel than Kitch. Turbo, meanwhile, he is now 21 seconds behind Mr. Fearless Leader, Rusty. Rusty, meanwhile, is going to have to pit on this lap. Patriotic right now making a mad dash to catch up to Kitchway, which he is about 8 seconds behind Kitch. J-Rod's widening the gap there to about 11. Ooh, excuse me, 11.5 seconds between himself and Kitch. About 33 seconds behind T64 Turbo. Meanwhile, Rusty has made his stop. Is he going to come out in time to pass Rusty? No, Turbo does not. Rusty's still holding about a 1.5 lead over Turbo. And that was just a fresh stop. That's, ooh, it's good stuff. That's good racing. Meanwhile, J-Rod has now passed, looks to be Apex. Didn't really get too tangled up with Apex there. Situation, meanwhile, holding strong at 4th spot. Now, let's go inside the mind of J-Rod. Let's see how he drives. And if I could read his mind correctly, he is craving Raising Cane's at the moment. Because I remember mentioning something about that a couple days ago. And let me tell you, J-Rod, there's a place in my neck of the woods that's better than Raising Cane's, and I guarantee it. But while I got off topic there, look at the way that he handles the track, handles the car. He's very smooth. Doesn't have to turn a whole lot there. I mean, he turned a little bit on that curve, which, I mean, that's a given. Goes through the kink. It's going to make the sharp 90-degree left-hand turn, going onto the straight, onto the gradual right-hand turn. Now, that right hand can be tricky. You think, oh, yeah, it's smooth. It looks like it doesn't have any sudden turns. Well, this is actually a very sharp curve. It'll mess your day up. Kind of like this one. It's banked, you gotta take it in, so you gotta go out and out on that turn, or you're gonna have a bad time. Going through the straights here into the last hairpin of the course. Take a look here, let's see what it'll do. It'll cut through the apex. Didn't cut into it too much, but just enough to at least have a very productive lap. Speaking of which, let's take a look at lap times here. Let's see what we got going on in terms of laps. So, as you can tell by Rusty, anything marked with a 203 looks to be a pit. Anything other than that looks to be his race pace. So, not counting the 203s, he is running very consistent. Lap 8 looks like he had a little bit of a screw up, but you know, he was able to regain his spot. But he's running 145s, 146s. He's running about half a second faster than Turbo. Turbo, meanwhile, is running, and he got a little bit inconsistent there, running about a 152. Last lap, 145 on lap 15. So he's doing anywhere from about 145 to 147 average You know, I don't want to count the 152. But it looked like he had made a very crucial mistake, and Rusty is now 7 seconds ahead of Turbo. Joey, meanwhile, is going to get past, or allowed Turbo, or not Turbo, it's too late in the night. It's going to allow Rusty to go by. So that's the key difference here. This is why Rusty has a 6-second gap over Turbo. It's about consistency. You know, yes, Turbo ran a 144.5. That's great. But can you constantly run a 145, a 146? You know, instead of running a 144, a 152, a 145, 145, 147, 146, 147, you know, he's kind of all over the place. J-Rod's been doing a pretty good job there with his pace as well. He's running anywhere from 148 to 149. Patriotic, he's a little bit slower, but the reason why he's up there is because of consistency. Kitch, meanwhile, looked like he had made a full stop. He's going to last the rest of the race. So he's running anywhere from about a 148 to a 149. Joey Cannoli, he's been kind of all over the place as well. Igorski running about 150s to 151s. Apex just running about a 218 and 220. It's just not his night. And you're going to have that sometimes in the world of racing. I mean, there are some tracks where you could tear it up, you could beat people by 20 plus seconds, and then the next track you get lapped. I've dealt with it. I mean, I remember winning a race in one of our leagues with a 20-second gap, and then a few weeks later, I'm running at a track, getting lapped by people like Rusty, Turbo, J-Rod, Joey Cannoli, and all the rest of them. It's just going to happen. So, let's see, Rusty had just run another 146. Turbo, meanwhile, has got a pit. And I think that's going to be the nail in the coffin. As long as Rusty here doesn't mess up, he should have this race in the bag. Especially with about an 18-second lead. Now, he gets into the grass a little bit there, but he's able to save it. Good work. Good work. But Turbo's still holding a very nice lead over J-Rod. Just about a minute lead. I mean, 50 seconds to be precise. Patriotic's running 4th. Kitchuation's running 5th. Now, what's interesting to me is Kitchuation was about 10 seconds behind Patriotic. He's now cut that gap to less than 4 seconds. Kitchuation's going to get into the curve there. Goes through it pretty well. I mean, it was not bad at all. Patriotic, meanwhile, he's just trying to hold his ground. He wants to keep that 4th spot. J-Rod, he's just kind of doing his own thing at the moment. He's got 3 laps left. He's in his own little world. Turbo, running about 17 seconds behind Rusty. Rusty, meanwhile, looks like he's going to have just enough gas to make it through the end of the race. And if not, he'll still have enough time to do a little bit of a splash and dash. Turbo, meanwhile, it looks like he might get caught up in some lap traffic. So I'm curious to see how this is going to go. Blue flags are over the place. It gets a little bit squirrely there, coming out of the last turn of the track. Going through turn number 1. Turn number 2. Now, who does he have right in front of him? Looks to be none other than Igorski. So, Igorski is going to kind of move out of the way there. He knows Turbo is well ahead of him, so he's not even going to try and, you know, fight for his position. I mean, there's really no point. Rusty, sliding off of the track. He is lucky he's got that 17-second gap. But oh, spins out again. Where's Turbo? Turbo's going to be approaching the 90-degree left-hand turn. Rusty is losing it. This is going to make the race a whole lot better. Turbo, meanwhile, is going to take the lead with about a 7.5-second gap. Boy, if I had a keyboard, I would be figuring out what happened there. So meanwhile, Turbo is going to be going into the last curves here of the track. Get ready to approach the final lap of the race. Rusty, meanwhile, he's got no choice but to pit. I think that the occurrence there was spinning out, just kind of put a dampener to his race. So he's now about 14 seconds back from Turbo. Turbo, meanwhile, has pretty much got this in the bag. As long as he doesn't mess up, he should be fine. J-Rod, meanwhile, is just kicking it in third. Patriotic, he's got less than a second lead over Kitchuation. Kitchuation is on a mad dash. A mad dash to catch Patriotic. So I think this will be a good battle to watch here. Kitchuation looks to the inside, trying to close the gap there. Does not work out too well. He's got a pit. That's pretty much going to seal the deal there for Patriotic. So he's going to pretty much be finishing in fourth. Turbo, meanwhile, has now got a 23-second lead over Rusty. Rusty, meanwhile, I don't know what happened there, if it was the weight of the car that shifted dramatically because of the fuel, but you hate to see it. Turbo, meanwhile, he's going into the straight here before approaching the last chicane. And let's take a look here, going through the last turn, onto the straight, towards the finish line. And it's gonna be Turbo. Good job. Meanwhile, Rusty approaching the fast section of the track. Going into the last chicane there. Towards the straight, he's gonna finish in a very respectable second. J-Rod, meanwhile, he is on the fast section of the track as well, the fast straight, I should call it, going into the last chicane. Or hairpin. Ugh. Finished in a very nice third position. Patriotic has now went to the fast section of the track there. He's not going to make it to the finish line, so it'll be Patriotic, Kitch, Igorski, Cannoli, and Apex. What? Ooh. Yeah, we'll talk about it here in a sec. But here's your race winner with the anime booby car Alfa Romeo T64 Turbo. What a race. What a dramatic race. Very good racing, you know, it's a lot of fun to commentate. Overall, good fun. You know, it's a different car to handle, it's a beast. So, congratulations there, Turbo, and everybody on the field. Very good effort by all. So, just to give you guys a basic gist here, tomorrow we don't have anything going on. Thursday, we've got a Group 3 race. Which I forget what track it's at. Friday, I don't think we have anything planned as far as races. I might try to set something up. I'm kind of thinking of, to anybody that's listening, maybe a multi-class endurance race. You know, group 1 and Group 3. Or Group 3, Group 4. Saturday will be the manufacturer series with Group 3, Group 4 cars, hosted by Rusty if he's not too busy at the moment. Sunday, we'll have a special race. I will be participating in the Esports Global Tournament, making my debut, repping RWB Racing. I will be using the Jaguar F-Type at St. Croix B. Should be streamed on ESGT's YouTube. I might even kind of stream my end of the race as well, so stay tuned to that. That'll be exciting, but you know, the rest of the races I'm excited to participate in. You know, like I said, multi-class race. Ah, J-Rod, what a race. Yes, what a race indeed. And this is your boy Cupcake signing out here, and you can always check us out, rwbracing.com. Check our Facebook page, RWB Racing, or Facebook group of RWB Racing MRC. And special thanks to Flex Tape. And try and stay safe out here in this situation we've been in. You know, if you're feeling sick, don't go to work. Don't go out and do stuff. If you're legitimately sick, stay home. Especially if you got a PlayStation 4. I mean, come on, man. PS4, Gran Turismo, you got your PlayStation Plus games in the system. Why not just sit back and binge a few games? But prayers to anybody that has that horrible disease or virus. And we will see you next time.